One of my favorite meals I've been eating right now is vegan chicken and dumplings. It's a hearty, thick, and creamy soup loaded with fresh veggies and topped with perfectly cooked, light and airy dumplings. I'm gonna go step by step to help you make one of the most iconic meals. Let's dig in. First, let's get all our ingredients prepped and ready. We'll need diced celery, onions, and carrots for the base of our soup. We'll get started with the celery and its leaves and give it a quick chop. Carrots, you can cut lengthwise and then dice. I choose to turn mine into these mini rectangles for absolutely no reason. And the onions, I did a small dice also. Looking back, I probably would have preferred to go with that chunky soup vibe, so cutting them a little larger would have been my preference. Garlic was supposed to come next in the lineup, but I got so excited for the spice blend, it completely slipped my mind, at least until a little later in the video. In a small bowl, whisk together 1 teaspoon onion powder and dried parsley, then a half teaspoon of each garlic powder, dried basil, thyme, rosemary, and allspice. Finish this blend off with a pinch of sage and black pepper. We're gonna wash and add some fresh thyme, and here you can catch me sneaking that garlic into frame. A popular question I get is, when cooking, why might you see in a recipe it says to add fresh and dry herbs of the same type? It might seem crazy, but it's actually genius. This method is called flavor layering, and as the name sorta implies, it helps you achieve a more complex layer of flavors. So the fresh herbs provide like a bright, almost immediate taste, especially if you're adding it at the end of your cooking. As for the dry herbs, that's a deeper, more concentrated flavor that develops throughout your cooking process. It's so good, we're actually gonna be doing it a few times today, with onion and onion powder, thyme sprigs and dried thyme, and with fresh garlic and garlic powder. Now back to the show. We're gonna start out by bringing our dumpling mixture together. Typically, you would do this while allowing your soup to simmer. But if you're a beginner or life has you feeling a bit anxious, making your dumplings first can really slow things down and help you take things one at a time. Into a medium-sized bowl, we're going to add all of our dry ingredients for our dumplings. 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a half teaspoon each of baking soda, salt, and black pepper, and finally, a pinch of nutmeg. Give this a stir, and I like to make a well to help more easily combine the next step. Next is 3/4 cup dairy-free milk and 4 tablespoons vegan butter, or you can use extra virgin olive oil. The vegan butter is simply adding fat to help the dumplings be more soft. For an oil-free version, you could replace the vegan butter with like dairy-free yogurt. Stir this together, but be careful not to overmix. You want to have absolutely no gluten forming. So for the most part, just pushing the flour into the wet stuff. At the end, your dough is a shaggy pile of flour similar to that of biscuit batter. Set this aside and let's tackle our soup. I'm using a 5-quart Dutch oven today. Over medium heat, I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then shortly follow that up with adding carrots, celery, onions, and fresh thyme. No, it doesn't have to be in the right order. We're gonna be using our onions to guide us to the next step. So we're looking for them to get translucent, which should take somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes. Next, stir in the garlic and our spice blend. Let everything cook, continuing to stir for about 2 minutes to help bring out those flavors. Whisk in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. You could also use gluten-free all-purpose flour. This will help thicken our soup over time as we continue to cook. Gradually add 4 cups of vegetable broth and 1 cup of canned coconut milk or your favorite dairy-free milk. Stir well to combine. I switched over to using a whisk to help scrape the base of the Dutch oven as I stir, but you can also do this with a wooden spatula. Finally, stir in 1 cup of frozen green peas and a can of chickpeas for protein and texture. Bring everything to a gentle simmer and let it cook for about 10 minutes. In this next step, I like to use a cookie scoop, so there's less thinking involved to separate the batter. So using a spoon or a cookie scoop, drop dollops of dough into the simmering soup. Pro tip, spoon a little broth over the top of each dumpling to help them cook more evenly. You want about 8 evenly sized dumplings at minimum. This way, they're not too large and end up not cooking all the way through. Cover the pot and let the dumplings simmer for about 10 minutes. They'll puff up beautifully and soak in all that delicious flavor. When you uncover, that's it. That's what you want. This is happiness in a pot. You have these floating dough balls of goodness in a rich, creamy, and hearty soup, almost gravy-like. This will be one of the best, if not the best, vegan chicken and dumpling recipe you ever tried. I'm telling you, everyone in the household is just cleaning this pot out. This full recipe can be found linked in the description, or head on over to my website, makeitdairyfree.com. If you tried the recipe, don't forget to rate it on the blog, but also let us know in the comments here. Lastly, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out our cooking club and believe in good. Peace.